Hello, and welcome to Action Surge, the series where we take an in-depth dive into your turn in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Today we're going to be exploring the help action. Out of all the things you can do on your own turn in D&D, one of them isn't even about your character. You can spend your time and your efforts ensuring someone else does a little bit better on their own turn. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mechanics of how the help action works. When you take the help action, the creature you aid gains advantage on the next ability check it makes to perform the task you are helping with, provided that it makes the check before the start of your next turn. Alternatively, you can aid a friendly creature in attacking a creature within 5 feet of you. You feint, distract the target, or in some other way team up to make your ally's attack more effective. If your ally attacks the target before your next turn, the first attack roll is made with advantage. Notably, the combat version of the help action specifies that you are helping a chosen ally attack a chosen enemy. Some game masters may let you choose the enemy you are distracting or interfering with, and let the advantage go to whatever creature attacks that enemy next, though this is up to GM approval. Now that we've looked at the mechanics of the help action, when would you want to be using your own action to help someone else? First of all, one of the key times that the help action is used is actually by spellcasters, specifically things like wizards. If you are capable of producing a familiar through the Find Familiar spell, the main action that they can take in combat is the help action. You don't even have to spend your own action to do so. You just have to send your familiar, whether it's a bat, a cat, a frog, a toad, a salamander, a little Yorkshire Terrier, whatever your familiar is, they can help you out. Outside of this other person helping things out, what about your own turn? When is it best for you to spend your action helping someone else? Well, the best times to do it is either when you have an enemy with a very high armor class, or whatever you are attempting has consequences. Let's look at both of these. If you are fighting an enemy with an armor class extraordinarily high compared to your party's attack bonuses, let's say your party averages an attack bonus of about a +6, but you're fighting an enemy with an armor class of 22 or 23, the chances of you hitting any particular hit are very low. If you have someone in the party that deals a lot of damage with their attacks, such as the barbarian or the rogue, you may want to give them a better chance of hitting instead of attacking yourself. By doing so, you do negate the ability for yourself to roll damage and them to roll damage if both die rolls are high, but in this case you are favoring the party member capable of doing more damage in any particular hit. The help action allows for the greater chances for those that are going to better use their attack actions. Outside of combat, you're going to want to use the help action when your party is attempting to do something that has a lot of risk for failure. For instance, if you are attempting to traverse a large gap with a spike pit at the bottom, rolling a very low number on an ability check to cross that gap could lead to your party member tumbling down to their doom, as opposed to everyone going at once, doing something like an additional handout to catch the other person as they come over, or doing something like giving an extra push on the jump off for that running jump will allow your party members to have less risk of failing. Now, not all rolls have a risk of failure. Sometimes a roll is about whether you do the thing or not. The help action shines when you have a chance of failure that has consequences with it. So you want to be using the help action either when you have an enemy with a very high armor class and every hit needs to matter, or if you're doing something where you cannot risk failing. Now that we've looked at when to use the help action, let's personalize this a little bit. Now, how do we describe the help action in combat? The wonders about the help action is it actually involves a secondary party. It's not only your description, but it's your description with whoever you are helping on whatever task you are helping them on. Now, this can bloom into quite a few different independent little moments that can form this nice little bouquet of the help action. First of all, how confident are you in what your companion's about to do? Is this something that you want them doing or something that you'd rather them not? Now, just because you're role-playing that your character doesn't want them to do the thing, obviously you as the player are using your action to help them, give them advantage on the thing they're trying to do. But the wonders of having this kind of two-player character action is the fact that you can have these little moments of, you may disapprove with what they're doing, but you're still there to lend a hand. And you can take this moment to describe like a scowl you might be doing, or even some underwriting, like a backhanded comment to the situation. In contrast to that, we have contrast. You may be helping your companion do something that they're doing, but it may not be the way you would do it. You can take this opportunity to highlight how your character would handle the situation versus their character, or rather your way versus however they describe their way is going to be, as this is going to be a dialogue when it comes to their turn. You may be not really wanting them to do it their way, or this may be a synergistic effect where neither one or the other way is going to complete the action, but together both of your methods are going to make it possible. So because we have that contrast of two different characters' techniques, we can explore that in the story. Aside from the exact moment that this is happening, whether or not you are doing it in a similar way, a dissimilar way, something like that, because we have two different characters, we can actually completely ignore the action being taken. We can ignore whatever you are helping with as the story point. We can focus just on the two characters. Is there any drama happening between your two characters at this point in time? Is there any conflicts that they're having, anything unresolved? You might choose to take this moment in the combat to either just have like a quick little flashback for your character, describe what they're thinking about, or have them verbally say something to the other player about, well, wish you would have been here when I did blank, or something like that. The fact that we have these two different characters in a tense moment teaming up, it may give rise to other faulty parts of their relationship that have not been explored yet. Now, we don't expect you to come to a conclusion to that relationship in this help action. That's not what this is for. This is meant to be a breadcrumb along the way of that story, that after the combat, you guys have already established something for your two characters to roleplay about later that is a callback to this moment in the combat. The help action is all about both characters. You are the one taking it, but you are taking it with someone else. And not only does the help action matter what task you are helping with, but it matters who you're helping with. And I think exploring that dynamic in the help action is a wonderful seed for story that otherwise would not be explored in a series of spells and attack actions. And with that, we are done with our episode on the help action. We have looked at the mechanics of the help action, when we want to be using it, and ways to make your help action more of an interaction with your party members and as a means of telling story through your own turn helping someone else. As we continue on through our story, I'm not quite ready to get on to the next episode yet. If you just give me a moment, I'm sure there will be a more opportune time for me to release it. You know, let's go for it. Let's just do it.